Monsieur le Président de la République fédérale d'Allemagne, du Nigeria, excusez-moi, Monsieur le Président des institutions de la République fédérale, mes chers collègues, chefs d'État et de gouvernement, chefs de délégation,
heads of delegations,
je voudrais,
I wish,
Monsieur le Président,
Sir,
saluer ce grand
to
jour,
recognize this
la
great day
célébration du centenaire
of celebration of the centenary of the amalgamation of Nigeria, of the great Nigeria,
qui se déroule, vous l'avez bien indiqué, dans le
is
contexte
holding, as you have
de la
mentioned,
Renaissance africaine,
within the circumstances of
passé,
African Renaissance,
qui se déroule dans le contexte
which is
de
taking
l'unité de
place
notre continent.
at a time when we see greater unity in our continent
Et l'année dernière,
that we celebrated last
c'est grâce à
year.
cette vision,
It is thanks to this
notre
vision,
continent construit sa
President, Sir,
puissance
that
pour la
our continent
citoyenneté,
has been able
pour la
to gain
sécurité
strength,
humaine,
as you have said,
la
to
prospérité de
provide
ce
for
peuple,
human security and the prosperity of its peoples,
de ce monde,
the people
de
of
tous
this
nos partenaires
world,
dont je salue
and all our
la présence
partners
de certains
whose
parmi nous.
presence I
Cette vision
recognize
repose, Monsieur
here.
le Président, sur la
This
paix,
vision
la stabilité,
rests
la
on
sécurité
peace, stability,
et la bonne gouvernance des
security,
affaires
and
de notre
good
continent
governance
et de notre
of
planète.
the affairs of both our
C'est
continents
pourquoi,
and the entire world. It is for this reason
en ce pareil cas,
that
Monsieur le Président, c'est pourquoi je voudrais saluer
I wish
avec beaucoup de différence et de respect tout le
with
peuple
a great deal
nigérien
of respect all the peoples
les
of
gouvernants
Nigeria,
qui se sont succédés
as well
pour
as
le rôle
the
de
various
leadership
governments
pour
that have
placer
played a role of
la République
leadership,
fédérale du Nigeria
whereby the Federal
dans cette
Republic
vision.
of Nigeria has fallen
Je
squarely
salue
within this
particulièrement
vision.
mon frère,
I particularly recognize my brother, Goodluck Jonathan
Président de la
Ebele,
République fédérale d'Allemagne,
President
sa
of
sollicitude
the
à
Federal
l'endroit du
Republic
Nigeria,
of
de
Nigeria,
notre sous-région et de
and I
notre continent.
recognize his concern for Nigeria, for our sub-region and for our continent. Long life to Nigeria. President, Sir, we
Le message que vous l'avez
heard
passé,
the message that you were kind enough to share with us, placed under the slogan of human security, peace and stability for development. I congratulate you for the selection of this theme.
notre délégation,
And I appreciate the fact that you have invited my delegation and our brothers and sisters from around the world to listen to your message that has been quite clear and is in fact visionary. President, Sir, I wish to seize the opportunity I have here that lies within the program we are holding today to tell you that you are right to emphasize the appropriateness of this theme in the 21st century for our continent and our world that is shaken by plagues of different natures. As you said quite rightly, we do have strong institutions to deal with human security. In each one of our countries, we need to have strong institutions that are credible, that are reliable, that are being led by men and women of distinction. We, President, Sir, need to enhance political dialogue in all our countries without turning our backs on the grassroots and our nations, trade unions, the civil society, the private sector. We need to work in a spirit of ethics and integrity in all our countries. We need to enhance and consolidate our democracy, which must be underpinned by the rule of law. We can have nothing without strong justice. We cannot have the rule of law. We must protect ourselves, shelter ourselves from corruption.
Monsieur le Président,
justice
qui répondent parfaitement,
perfectly
aux aspirations
reflect
des justiciables.
the aspirations of those who deserve justice. We require institutions that serve the general interests of the populations, that serve human security. We require to build strong positions, as you rightly said. If we wish to have prosperity, democracy must be matched by economic recovery that will feed, that will shelter, that will educate, that will provide health, that will provide human security. For this purpose, we must recognize that there can be no human security without unity amongst us, without peace, without stability. There is an obligation to have results. We must be accountable. We need to build our vision around strong growth, quality growth that is inclusive, that is sustainable, and yet respects the environment. President said this means that we must be able to revive our programs as you described in your vision. I wish to refer to our dear continent, because together we are stronger. We have repeated this and mentioned it during our various summits, and we have reflected it in the mechanisms that we have put in place, the African mechanism for the African peer review mechanism. And I agree with you that we need to establish criteria with which we will determine what steps we have taken and review the progress that we have made. We need to see our various networks revived. We need to bring dynamism into the private sector of our continent, bringing them into connection with the international private sector. Agriculture as well. We need to see how we can transform rural environments, because we need to enhance human security in rural areas as well. We need to wrestle the matter of land rights. We must speak of mechanized agriculture, of entrance, of the revival of rural infrastructure. There is therefore the issue of funding, which you referred to, sir. The African continent will reflect what its African and economic integration is. There is a great deal that needs to be done. With all respect, I wish to recognize my colleagues that are playing a leadership role to see that our continent represents a credible partner with our partners from the rest of the world. A partner where we see strong growth and where we see us playing our role in the world. Our regional economic community therefore needs to be strong. We need to see interconnection amongst our countries. We need to review the governance of the African Union. Whilst we recognize what has been done, where we recognize Pan-Africanism and African Renaissance, we need to look at infrastructure, as you rightly said. We cannot set this matter aside if we wish to ensure that our countries are interconnected. Energy, road, port infrastructure, and social infrastructure, education, health, so that we have health coverage for all, because we are speaking of human security. Dear brother President, I don't want to take up the precious time that we have here, but I however wish to emphasize this matter, and that is youth employment. Youth employment is a time bomb that we must dismantle together, because we must do this because we are stronger together. My sister Helen, President of Liberia, she spoke to it so well. The MDGs, MDGs for Sustainable Development.
Constitue aujourd'hui
2015 is a time when we must look at the progress we have made so that we are able to speak in a single voice, because each one of us must be committed to these matters. When we would have attained these objectives, we would say that we have made significant progress in alleviating poverty and in enhancing human security, bringing in peace and stability. I will not conclude, President Sir, without saying that I recognize you, because there is the issue of the strategic partnership that we shall establish, because we can do nothing if we are isolated. We do believe that there can be international solidarity, there can be strategic partnership with the rest of the world, where there are no complexes, where we're not talking about aid, where we're talking about a win-win situation, because our continent is increasingly becoming a power, and we are convinced of this. I recognize the representative of the UK Prime Minister of all the powers. You would not be a power without our continent, because that is the way of the world. The future belongs to God, and therefore we can have hope. The world, we dream of a better world, a new world, where we have joint management of the affairs of our planet. I wish you a happy birthday and long life and success as you lead the great Nigeria. Thank you.